Okay, 1 2 1 2. Hopefully I'm audible this time. Excuse, I uploaded a video, but then I found out got to it, the mic was not on, so I had to switch it on. But basically I'm just gonna give you guys a short tutorial on how to use the API, right? Just beforehand, before you all give me a second here. Let me open something that I'll demonstrate with ECA. Am I using API here? I'm not. Okay, let me open this one. In the meantime, while it's loading, the important part is the sign in and the sign up, right? I saw that on your register you have your full name, your whatever and whatever, right? In my case, I'm taking the name and the surname separately. So unless you'll space them, I mean you're you divide or split them by space bar so you can have separate, then that's okay. I'm taking phone numbers, I'm taking an email, and obviously password and the role. With the role we have normal user, right? Normal user, which will be the one you pass or on the thingy. This is the first role. The second role is the advertiser. I don't think you have to worry about this one, since we won't have a website for advertisers or people that will be advertising their things. Advertiser, right? That's another rule. The last one is the author, right? Not also, you might not worry about this one also, because we don't have a website where there will be people logging into to type, post the articles and whatever, basically manage articles. So but most likely you have to pass the person doing the login page, I mean the login and whatever, right? When they're doing the things, they don't have to pass normal user as the role. Basically saying, when they obviously we're gonna be having the people who are gonna be entering to watch the ads and blah 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 as the normal users. So you're just passing that role there to define that user. The password, the email, the phone number, the surname and the name. I think those are very easy, right? I'm not gonna go through it, but then this will be the how you're supposed to pass the data from the front end. That's my point. It's supposed to be in this manner, right? And then also when you're logging in, either logging in using either email or contact or phone numbers, right? Hence I just said contact here. So for the normal user, for example, I already have two users in my, actually I have three, all of them, right? This would be the normal users details that I have in my database so far that I registered. I signed them up, right? When you log in, it's gonna return, the most important part is gonna return on the code, right? When the login is successful, it will return the user ID. So it's very important to store this in a session for cases where the person wants to donate or whatever they click on and whatever to what can they click on the article or click on an ad. So we're gonna require the user ID for some of the functionalities, right? Also very important, right? This is the token you get once the login is successful. You're gonna have to also store this in a session, right? Because every endpoint that you make, you're gonna have to use the token first, or pass the token first to be authenticated. Then after be able to use the thing. What do I mean by that? I have this function here which says get user by get user details, or get user by ID. You see now the user ID of this person is 2, right? Oh, it's 1 actually. It's the first person in the database. So if I come here and then I say 1, this won't allow me, or it won't show anything, right? It's gonna give you an error. Why? Because I'm unauthorized to access the to access the, or to use the function, right? So it is very important to pass the token first, and this will happen on each and every function beside the sign up and the login. Every function that you see here requires the token to be passed first. That's very important. And then secondly, I mean, yeah, it will give you this error. I have not implemented the whole logic of saying if the role is not whatever, or if the JWT key is not passed first, then give the error strings blah 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 saying kuti unauthorized, for example, like that. It was a lot of work, so I just mined it, né? But the important part is that it won't work if the token is not passed first. So now I'm gonna, okay, so now I'm gonna, it doesn't matter for now, but I'm gonna use okay, for the purpose of this, I'm gonna demonstrate. I just want to demonstrate, right? So I'm gonna copy this URL. Actually, unfortunately, these things are obscuring the thingy. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna copy everything here and then come here and then paste it, just so I can be able to extract this. I hope that's okay with you guys. So here's the important part. When you authorize, when you want to access the function, like I said, you have to pass in the token first, and this is how you pass it, right? You have to say BRA. This is very important, right? BRA. I don't know what that BRA mean. And then along spacebar along with the token. What do I mean by that? In your front end, you have to do something like this. Obviously, it won't be the same because here I'm using C#, but that's just to give you guys an idea of how I did my thing in the thingy here, right? You won't see my screen, or you won't see what I'm clicking. That's okay though. I'm just gonna go to APIs implementation, and then for example application management. This is just an example, right? So you'll see that each and every time I have this get status function here, as small as it's a small function, I'm still passing in my thing here, right? PRA, right, along with session that user the token. Before I first do this part here, I'm passing in this part, right? So the session or the whatever it be on the header. I don't know what is this, but you get the point. I hope it will be on the authorization, the header part, right? I don't know how in JavaScript, I mean in React, it's gonna be like, but I'm working with a guy who's already used to this thing and it's working on his side, so I know you guys should know how to do something like this. Maybe, I hope, right? So you pass the thing first and then you get to utilize the API query. You pass the thing first, right? And then after that you get to use the query here, something like that, right? So that's what I meant. And then with that being said, when your token is authorized and then you're all good to now add an article. Unfortunately, this is the second video I'm making now. So I had already added an article. So I have 3 articles from in the database so far, right? So as you can see, I have title. I'm just going to say this is example 3 because I already have 2 more in the database. So here, this is the tricky part because I configured the document part. I did make it here this, right, whereby I was explaining, or I was saying, Guti, instead of having to say we're gonna copy and paste the paragraphs, for example, that they were sent in the group, and then paste them here as content. Like when you paste them here, it's just going to be the same thing. There won't be differentiation. There won't be like subtitles where maybe you say, go, this one has a bigger font, for example, and whatsoever. You tap with your space. Like the thing where it won't be as, I don't know if you guys get my point, right? Why? Because we are not utilizing, say maybe if we had a website where the author actually logs in, and then they have the add article on that website, and what it does is that when they, instead of they can choose whether to upload a document or to actually type the article out on the system, whereby they can bold, they can, you see how you integrate the weight what is it, components or weight functionalities. Those are we insert whatever, and then you integrate those things into that website, whereby if the user can choose to type on our website, then they'll be saying something like whatever, then they can have the ability to bold and whatsoever. Why? That would make sense if we had something like that, because we'd be taking that, right, and then I don't know if you get my point, guys. I hope I'm not losing you guys, right? Because it's different from when I say now I'm just gonna go to WhatsApp, right, and then copy what they were pasted there, and then come here on the whatever, and then I paste it, right? It's way different. It's just gonna make everything look the same. There won't be any difference at all. So that means there won't be, if there were spaces, there were decorations, there whatever, they won't be happening here. I don't know if you guys get my point. So hence I'm saying I'm vouching for the idea of having to upload a document. Hence I even went as far as saying, how will such a thing, if that idea be handled in front end using React JS, right? and that this is what JWT gave me, right? An idea of how that can be used. So like I said, but then again, if this tends to be quite a difficult thing to do, right, then we can always resort to using uploading or copying and pasting the content here, and then obviously this will be the title, and then the URL, if that article have a URL, right? In my case, I don't. Obviously the person uploading the article, the user ID, I already did add this person, right? Unfortunately, okay, is their user ID is 4, right? So don't be surprised. The files, this is can be an array, but you can upload a picture. That the picture can be the one maybe that will be shown on the home page before the user can click on an article. Again, they see that picture, they see some words under there, which words that can be a title, for example. And then also the document part, which I said I implemented, but it will depend on if you guys are up with what I did here. If you guys are not feeling it, that's also okay, right? So don't feel the pressure, guys, or don't worry about that. One here, it has a lot of page. Oh, this is actually quite small. 1 gig. This was the one with a lot of bytes. These are small, so I can choose to say this is my for example, this is my article, right? What I do is that I read the bytes of this file, I save them onto the database, right? And then something like this here, right? Save them. Okay, let me see now. Let me upload this, and then you'll see what I mean. I execute, and then it will load obviously, and then come back with the article edit. And then if I come, okay, let me refresh first, right? And then if I come here now and say execute, now you will see that another article was added, right? Example 3 with this content, right, which is just the token that I did, and then the date, the user ID who posted it, the URL, if there is whatever, and then the document, the document article, the article document article document, and then it will, those document it is, or and the image are saved in the files table which I made, whereby it is used to store files. Basically, you can see that here's the document. It takes in the article ID, and then add the doc part, and then basically the array, and then add the doc part, and then yeah, this is the binary data. Well, you can't see it, but there's data there, and then also the image that I uploaded here it is, right? And then it also uploads the bytes in the database, right, as you can see. So now that's it's all good. So my chat is right. I made them functions here. Where am I made them functions get articles, right? And then you'll see, you see the add article was executed. Now I'm gonna execute the get articles, which will return all the articles in the database along with their files and the data they have, right? This will take a while depending on how fast the network is, and also how large the documents that were uploaded, right, I do have a restriction that I can only take up to a 10 megabyte file, but yeah, that's the point. The point is it will depend on how fast it is. It's the same as on the any platform where you're uploading in a document where it takes some time to load that document, right, or to upload that document. So yeah, here it will do the same. But here I do blame my Wi-Fi. I don't think the thing takes that time when I'm using data. It didn't take time when I'm using data. Hence I said we will be hosting this thing using mobile data, because Wi-Fi's at some point they can be very tricky to deal with, right? But you can see that it became with 200, right? So it is still just fetching the data from the database. That's what it's doing now, which is taking time for some reason. Well, I do know why, like, because I'm not connected to my data. That's the thing. The Wi-Fi is back here. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but yeah, that's the what I wanted to show you guys. Yes, this will be it after being uploaded. You can see, oh, it comes with oh, okay, it comes with the latest article, and then going down, descending, right? This is the latest, the one we just uploaded, article 3, right? If you guys still remember, and then along with the file, the image that was uploaded, and then this is its bytes, the bytes of that image, right? And then if you go, you see this is the files, it's an array. So this is the image details, right? If you go down, there will be the documents details. If we do get you here, here's the document details, the read doc, and then this is the bytes for that document. So you can read that, and then well, this will be going in the front end. So if you can figure out how to take these bytes here, right, and actually instead of having to convert to and then just display the thing in the website, it will show exactly how the person typed their article on Word, right? If it had an image, or if there was a title, if there were subtitles, there was whatever they had done on the Word document, it will do exactly that and display it on the website. I do believe that, right? So it's just a matter of you figuring out how you're gonna work around that part, if it's okay with you. But like I said, if it tends to be quite some difficult thing to do, then you can always resort to um, having to pass the contents of the article in the content part. However, they're not gonna appear nice on your side, right? Because again, we're gonna be using this API to upload the content. We're not gonna be using a website, right? So I don't know if that makes sense, guys. I hope it makes sense, and I hope I'm not confusing you. One last important thing is that these are the things you use, the APIs you use on your front end to make the request, right? So you see, says this is the URL here, right? And then along with this part here, right? And then also when you get the whatever, this is the function, the get whatever. Fortunately, this one doesn't accept any, doesn't need any parameters or anything. It's just this part only, right there. And then thereafter they will return a list, right? A list of this part over here. Yeah, so I hope everything is understandable. This is the second video I'm making, and it's a bit long, but I hope it will be helpful to you guys. So everything now, for example, now that the JSON, oh yeah, this thing it's tweaking. It is very much tweaking. But now that the token thing has been authorized or authenticated, okay, it's fine. Let me just end it here, right?